Just let me know that whether you can see my screen or not. Then after I will start my session.
Okay, sir. It's a
Yes, sir.
busy.
दिखाई
Yes,
sir.
sir. It's
Yes,
visible, sir.
it's same.
Okay, good. So as Krishna madam has told that today I am going to talk about numerical induction motor protection. On the left side you can see the cover page of the book from which I have covered this today's session. So now induction motor protection. Uh, Please wait for a while. Hello. हाँ, 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 ठीक है। Friends, just wait for 5 minutes of time duration. I am required to talk with principal sir related to one issue. So please wait for few minutes of time duration. And sorry for the inconvenience from my end.
No, no.
Just
It's
wait.
okay, sir. It's
It's
okay,
okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay, sir. So students, if you have any doubt regarding the topic and the subject, so you can ask in the end of the session. Okay, so in between આપણે ચાલુ લેક્ચરમાં કોઈ અનમ્યુટ ના કરે એ વસ્તુ ધ્યાન રાખજો. બરાબર? ડિસ્ટર્બન્સ ના આવવું જોઈએ. ઇટ્સ યોર રિસ્પોન્સિબિલિટી. એટલે એન્ડ ઓફ ધ સેશન જ્યારે પતે તે વખતે તમે ક્વેશ્ચન હોય તે વખતે પૂછી શકો છો.
Okay.
Hello students.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Now I'm starting my session.
Okay.
Is it visible my screen?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
So today I am going to talk about induction motor protection. Now, first of all, you should know that whenever we are going to provide protection to any of the system, we should understand first of all that what is the system. Then and then we can able to protect it. Now, whenever we think about protection of induction motor, you should understand that which type of induction motor is there and which type of protection is required. As for example, whatever machines we use for our household purpose, like it is a mixer, it is a water pump, borewell, these types of small machines, even the fan, which is using single phase induction motor. These type of small induction motors are protected only by simple fuses, and they come in a category of small motors. So in my very first PPT, it is clearly mentioned that motors are divided in major two types, small motors and large motors. Now small motors are generally protected by, at our house it is protected by just simple fuse, or if we are going to talk about somewhat high capacity motor that is rated in the range of 415 watt and up to few HP, then they are protected by simple starters. I think in diploma college you might have gone through one typical type of starter that is called 3-point starter. Friends, you are free to talk in between if you are having any doubt, and I I will be happy if you give your inputs in between. So I assume that you all of you might have used this type of starters. In 3-point starter, I think you might have used it. One register bank is there which is connected in a typical manner, and whenever people start that starter, generally that register is going to be reduced and finally it will be cut down. I hope that all of you must have used this type of starter.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is also considered as one of the equipment which is going to provide protection. So you should understand that protection means it doesn't always carry the huge capacity of breakers, relays, control circuit. It is not like that. So as a thumb rule, what is the need of protection and up to how much extent we can provide protection is required to be understood. So very first thing that is required to be understood is whatever equipment you are going to protect, first of all try to find out the level of work that is required to be done, and secondly find out the cost which you have paid for that machine or for that system, and with respect to its technical complexity and with respect to its cost, you are required to provide protection. Now, if the machine or any system is simple and cheap, then you can't afford huge capacity of equipment to provide protection. So here, as I have clearly mentioned, that small motors which are rated for few HPs are available in the market in the range of maybe starting from 2000 up to 20,000, maybe 50,000 rupees. Now, whenever these type of motors which are available in a very small range of then you can't afford the relays. So here the very first statement of this slide tells you that these types of small motors are protected by just starters and without using any type of relay. It has been also mentioned that so often it is protected by simple switch fuse units. But right now I'm going to talk about large motors. Now, large motors means they are rated in the form of hundreds or 5000 HP. Now, friends, do you know that for laboratory, what is the range of machine that we are using in the form of HP? કોઈ મને કહી શકશે કે આપણી લેબોરેટરીમાં ક્યાં સુધી આપણે ઇન્ડક્શન મોટરની રેન્જ વાપરતા હોઈએ છીએ? કોઈને ખબર હોય તો I will be happy if you share your thoughts related to induction motor so that I can come to know that up to how much extent you know about machine and what should I add from my end, because I have not met you even once. However, right now I am going to explain something related to a topic of induction motor. So it will be equally difficult for me if you just keep mum and if you do not give me some feedback. So do you know, friends, that what is the general range of induction motor that we use for our laboratory purpose? કોઈને
Sir,
ખબર
10
છે?
to 15.
Friends, obviously partially you are right, but generally that capacity is not going to cross 5 HP. For most of the purpose, if you read the nameplate of all such type of machines, then generally we use machines in the range of 3 HP to 5 HP. Now the reason behind it is we are required to just perform the experiments, and as you increase the capacity of machine, you are required to feed more and more power. If you talk about 1 HP machine, you know that it is having 735 watt. Sometimes it is also considered 746 watt, and input voltage is 415 watt. So roughly it is going to draw 2 ampere of current. So if you increase now the capacity of this type of machine, then what happens? It is going to draw more and more power, which cannot be provided by this type of small coinage. Obviously, for industrial purpose, we are going to use extra power transformers to provide this type of power. But for this type of small coinages, this facility is not available. So that's why we are going to use just 5 HP machine. And right now I am talking about a motor which is having 100 or 5000 HP of capacity. So this I am going to tell only to give you understanding that whatever we are going to discuss, it is not for small machine, or even you might not have seen this type of machines. So is it clear in your mind that what type of induction motor we are talking about right now?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Good. So we are talking about a machine which we are going to use for huge industry or for power plants. In power plants, I think you might have heard about PFN, IDFN, FDFN, DFP. This type of motors use induction motor, and which is having rating in the range of this type of thousands of HP generally. So these type of motors are having huge capacity, they are very costly, very complicated, and for these machines only we are going to provide the relays. So it should be clear in your mind that relays are provided only for these categories of motors which are called large motors. Okay, so that should be clear in your mind. So this is a very important slide to understand that which type of motors we are going to talk about. Now, then after once we have decided that we are going to provide protection to only huge motors, then after we need to understand that what are the different type of troubles are going to be faced by these machines. Now, the troubles are very first common trouble is overloading, and it is generally happens in India, because any of the system, any of the machine, any of the equipment we try to use is it up to the maximum limit, and that is an Indian trait that whatever we buy, we try to use it up to its maximum limit. So here what happens, if you have bought induction motor which can able to give output in the range of some X HP, then you are trying to use up to that extent. And if you go beyond that, then what happens? It is going to draw huge amount of current, which is going to create the overloading effect. Now the idea in the form of, in students mind related to overloading is sometimes not very much clear. Sometimes if it has been asked to the students that what is the difference between overloading, overcurrent, short circuit current, earth fault current, then students can't able to explain in a clear cut manner. So from that the problem will get started, because for each and every type of word, specific type of protection is provided to the induction motor. So you should have clear cut idea that to whom we can call overloading, to whom we can call overcurrent, to whom we can call short circuit current, likewise. So very first thing that I am going to explain is about overloading. Now overloading means it is just increase in the mechanical load which we have connected on the shaft of induction motor. What induction motor will do? It will draw electrical input from the GEB and it will give mechanical output. So whatever we have connected in the form of mechanical load on the shaft of induction motor, if we increase its mechanical load, then what happens? To it will try to reduce the speed and it will try to give the same input. Now if you try to visualize this thing, then it is equivalent to a person who can able to carry something like 10 kg of weight, and who can able to you can able to run or walk with some speed. Now instead of that, if that person is called to increase the weight from 10 kg to 15 kg, then what he will do? He will try to reduce his speed, and then after he can able to carry extra weight. Why he has reduced his speed? Because it's his capacity is 10 to carry 10 kg. Now we have given 15 kg of weight. So naturally he will try to reduce his speed and he will try to carry 15 kg. So this is equivalent to the case of induction motor. So if you try to draw more power from induction motor, then induction motor will give that power by reducing the speed. I hope that this phenomena is clear in your mind. સમજાય છે? આને ઓવરલોડિંગ કહેવાય સાદી ભાષામાં.
Yes, sir.
Good. So the very first point or phenomena that is going to happen is, because of overloading there is a reduction of speed of the induction motor. Now reduction of speed, that is layman's language, but in terms of technical language what we tell it as a increase of slip. I hope that slip is known to you. This is the difference between synchronous speed and normal speed of induction motor, ns minus n. So as the speed will get reduced, n will get reduced, and it is going to increase this slip ns minus n. Now the effect of increase of slip is, if you try to refer equations of induction motor, then generally we try to find out all the parameters on stator side and on rotor side by some typical equation. In general, if I try to give you hint that if I would like to find out voltage, current, frequency, power, everything on the rotor side, then we rely on the data of stator side. So as a thumb rule, one simple equation if I would like to tell, that what is the relationship between rotor quantity and stator quantity? Rotor quantities are slip times stator quantities. Once again I am repeating my statement. Rotor quantities are sleep times stator quantities. So if I give one example, then if you would like to find out rotor current, then rotor current is equal to sleep times stator current. If you would like to find out rotor EMF, then rotor EMF is sleep times stator EMF. Rotor frequency is sleep times stator frequency. I hope that as at a diploma level, at least you might have idea about this relationship, rotor and stator relationship. Do you know this relationship
Yes,
or
sir.
not?
Yes, sir. We
Good.
know.
So what ultimately we would like to conclude that as sleep will get increased, it is going to increase the parameter on the rotor side. Now, as I have mentioned, on that rotor side there is a induced EMF. Because of induction of EMF, there is a induction of current, frequency, and so on. So ultimately, because of increase of sleep, ER is equal to S time ES, IR is equal to S time IS, FR is, it is going to increase current voltage frequency on the rotor side. And because of that, what happens? It is going to increase the heat production rate on the rotor side. It is going to increase the heat production rate. Okay? And because of that, generally what happens? Heating produced થાય તો શું થાય? Generally students tell that, sir, if heating will be increased, then winding will burn out. Generally, this is a statement from students' end. Actually, they are not completely wrong, but they are partially wrong. Because by as the heating effect will get increased, it is going to deteriorate the insulation. And first of all, insulation will get punctured, and because of failure of insulation, there is a creation of short circuit which is going to increase the heating in the rotor winding. Once again, I am repeating my statement. It is going to increase heating because of this type of action. I hope that it is understood by all of you. Repeat करूं
Nah, sir. We understood.
बराबर? So actually the problem or fault in induction motor because of this type of effect is not just because of I square R loss. Otherwise, what happens that whatever winding we design, whatever type of winding, it is made with either copper or aluminum. Generally, copper and aluminum can able to withstand current and voltage in some specific range and temperature in the range of at least 100 degrees centigrade. And during overloading, it is not going to cross some limit. So it is not going to create trouble because of just overheating. It is going to create trouble because of weakening of insulation. That is called insulation deterioration due to temperature rise. So many times the power system engineer and protection engineer always have this type of conflict. Power system engineer tells that there is an increase of I square R loss, it is going to damage the winding. He is right, but the winding is going to be damaged because of damage of insulation, not because of damage of the conductor. If conductor will get burned out, it will create open circuit, and open circuit is not going to increase current. But when the insulation will get damaged, it is going to create short circuit, and short circuit is going to increase the current, which is going to burn out the other parts of the induction motor, and that is called thermal breakdown. So I hope that all the points which I have written in my slide can be understood by you properly, and you can differentiate between simple overheating effect and the effect that is converted in the form of fault because of overloading, because of this type of thermal breakdown effect. So friends, I hope that whatever I have explained in 5 or 10 minutes of duration, has been understood by you properly, that protection engineer consider this as a failure of insulation, not because of increase of heating effect in the winding. આ વસ્તુ સમજાય છે સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ તમને બધાને?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ઓકે, એટલે એનો મીનિંગ એવો નથી કે heating effect is not present in the winding, but because of heating effect in the winding, whatever damage will occur, it is very less. But because of failure of insulation, whatever phenomena is going to happen, that is called short circuit, is going to create huge damage. Got it? Okay,
Yes, sir.
so that is called effect of overloading. Now as the current will get increased, obviously heating effect is because of I square RT, and that I square RT is going to follow some pattern. Now that pattern I am going to show you in my next slide. So here I have given you one thermal Wheatstone curve limit. Now try to understand that if you ask about this type of curve to the motor manufacturer, then he will certainly going to provide this type of curve. Only the thing is, these type of curves are available for huge capacity of induction motor, not for small capacity of induction motor. So here try to understand that what is the meaning of this curve. So can you see my cursor on this slide?
Yes, sir.
મારું cursor દેખાય છે? Okay, so here my cursor, I am moving my cursor on x-axis. X-axis is going to provide you the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. And just below that I have written multiples of rated current of the equipment. So what is the meaning of it? Multiples of rated current is means whatever rated current is there, its multiple is given over here. 1 means multiple of rated current multiplied by 1 means it is called a rated current. 2 means rated current multiplied by 2 means double the current. 3 means 3 multiplied by rated current means 3 times the current. 4 times the current. 5 times the current and so on. And on this side, if I try to travel from one to origin, then it is called undercurrent. Are you getting me? આ બાજુથી હું ડાબી બાજુ જાઉં તો it is called undercurrent. Exactly at 1, what I can tell? આ જગ્યાએ શું કહેવાય મને?
Rated
current. Okay, just beyond 1 in this range shown by my cursor, up to maximum 10% or 20%, it is called overload current. It is called overload current. Beyond that, up to 2 to 3 times, this is called earth fault current, because earth fault current is somewhat high. It may be 2 times, maybe 3 times. Beyond that, 4 times, 5 times, maybe up to 10 times. This is whatever, sometimes it is 4 times, 5 times, it is called overcurrent. And beyond 5 times, maybe 10 times, 15 times, it is called short circuit. It is called short circuit. Okay, so should I repeat all these statements? કે યાદ રહી ગયું તમને?
યાદ રહી ગયું, sir.
Repeat.
Yes, sir.
Okay, તો આપણે ક્યાંથી શરૂઆત કરી? આ બાજુ ઓરિજિન બાજુ શું છે? આને શું કહેવાય?
Undercurrent.
Undercurrent. This is rated current. This is overload
current.
પછી શું આવે? earth fault. પછી overcurrent. And beyond overcurrent, short circuit.
Short circuit current.
Okay, so students are having great doubt in these type of fundamentals. એમને ખબર જ નથી હોતી કે કોને શું કહેવાય. So this graph is going to give you clear cut idea કે કોને શું કહેવાય. I hope that now in the future, if somebody will ask you that what is the meaning of undercurrent, rated, overcurrent, overload, then you are not going to create any mistake. Is it clear in your mind?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes good. Now what motor manufacturer will do with respect to this different current limit, he is going to design the machine. Now huge machines, what I am talking about, as I have mentioned that they are generally used for huge industry, they are used for the power plant like thermal power plant, in which I hope that it is known to everybody that in thermal power plant any of the machine, once it is started, it will run for at least 1 year of duration, and only once in a year we are going to maintain it. બધાને ખબર છે?
Yes, sir.
બરાબર. કોઈ પણ મશીન પાવર પ્લાન્ટમાં તમે એકવાર ઓન કરો, જનરલી it will continue to run for many months together. So the manufacturer will try to design machine to run for ideally on infinite time duration till its rated capacity. એટલે તમે જુઓ તો from if I try to draw vertical line at 1, then this vertical line, if I extend it up to infinite, then you can assume that this curve is not going to cross this vertical line at any moment. કોઈ પણ જગ્યાએ આ કર્વ તમારો 1 ને ક્રોસ નથી થતો. So what does it indicate? This curve indicate your thermal withstand characteristics. Means with respect to this curve, you can find out the time for which induction motor can withstand that current. It means right now, if I try to draw vertical line from 2, shown on the first, then for 2 times the rated current, manufacturer will tell to you according to this curve that his motor can be operated for this much time. But now if you increase current from 2 times to 3 times, then if you extend this vertical line, it will cross this thermal withstand characteristic over here, and according to that, now its time of operation is this. So initially the motor can be operated for this much time if you pass double the current, but if you increase current to 3 times, you can operate the machine only for this much time. Why it is so? Because as the current will get increased beyond certain extent, it is going to create heating effect, and you can't allow the motor to run for a longer time. Similarly, if you increase current to 4 times, once again the time of operation will get reduced. Accordingly, if you increase current to multiple times, it is called short circuit, and you extend this curve, this curve will try to reach to 0. It means you will have to operate the relay as fast as possible. જો કરંટ 5 ગણાથી વધારે હોય તો શું થાય? You are required to operate it at a very fast rate, because the withstand capacity of motor will get reduced to a tends to 0 to a great extent. સમજાય છે? So this
Yes,
is
sir.
called thermal withstand characteristic. Now if I extend it in this direction, then it is not going to cross this limit. આને કટ નહીં થાય. So what does it mean? કે જો તમે rated current pass કરો તો you can operate it up to infinite time, because this is not going to cross this curve. આવી રીતે. Okay, so this is called thermal withstand characteristic, which is generally provided by the manufacturer, and it follows inverse curve. Time is inversely proportional to current. Okay, time is inversely proportional to current. Sometimes what people tell that current is inversely proportional to time. This is wrong. Why it is wrong? કારણ કે કરંટ ઇન્ક્રીઝ થવાથી ટાઈમ ડિક્રીઝ થાય. ટાઈમ ડિક્રીઝ થવાથી કરંટ ઇન્ક્રીઝ નથી થતો. I hope that it is understood by you. Friends, ફરીથી રિપીટ કરું મારું સ્ટેટમેન્ટ. ઇન્ડક્શન મોટરમાં જો તમે કરંટ વધારે ને વધારે પાસ કરો તો એની capacity in terms of time will get reduced. You can't run induction motor for longer time duration. Understood?
Yes, sir.
સમજાય છે? પણ ઇન્ડક્શન મોટરનો ટાઈમ રિડ્યુસ કરવાથી કરંટ નથી વધતો. So here dependent quantity is time and independent quantity is current. Current independent quantity છે અને time dependent quantity છે. Got it? So here what you can tell, time is inversely proportional to current. આ રીતે આને વંચાય. Okay? Now we are going one more slide related to the same. Now whatever curve here the manufacturer has provided, this curve is related to one specific temperature. Now if I am going to think about Indian limit or Indian motors, then generally we consider 28 degrees centigrade as a normal reference temperature. I hope that it is known to everybody.
Yes, sir.
આપણા ઇન્ડિયામાં 28 ડિગ્રી ટેમ્પરેચર નોર્મલ કન્સિડર કરવામાં આવે છે. With respect to that, this curve is drawn. But now assume that you are going to operate your machine in different seasons, where whenever you have started your machine, temperature is not 28 degrees centigrade. Then what happens? એ કન્ડિશનમાં શું થાય? તો કે છે એ કન્ડિશનમાં જો તમારું ટેમ્પરેચર વધારે હશે તો ટાઈમ તમારો ઓછો કરી દેવો પડે. સમજાય છે? અને જો તમારું ટેમ્પરેચર ઓછું હશે તો યુ કેન યુઝ ઇટ ફોર અ લોંગ ટાઈમ ડ્યુરેશન. સો વિથ રિસ્પેક્ટ ટુ ધેટ two more curves are drawn, which is called hot curve and cold curve. So what this hot and cold curve will indicate? Hot curve will indicate that you are starting your machine in a hot condition. અત્યારે ઉનાળામાં જો તમે મશીનને સ્ટાર્ટ કરો તો શું થાય? Already it is a hot atmosphere, and hence you can see that if you pass double the current, then if I extend this curve like this, it can able to operate, it can able to withstand this current only for this much time. But if the motor is cold, it can able to withstand it for longer time. So with respect to that, you can able to draw multiple hot and cold curves. And generally hot curve is below cold curve because during hot condition motor is required to be tripped at a faster rate. આ સમજાઈ ગયું?
Yes, sir.
Good. Sorry friends, I am having very less duration of time. Otherwise I would have gone in great depth, but I hope that it is understood by you. Single phasing, first of all I will complete this thermal breakdown effect. Then after, if time permits, I am going to cover single phasing, voltage unbalance and so on. So right now different abnormal conditions are there which I have already mentioned in my PPT, but only because of this time limit I may not able to cover all the points. For that purpose I may take this type of one more session if your college will invite me, and if you find it interesting. So right now I will try to restrict myself to thermal overload protection only. Then after, in the future, if time permits, in the next session I am going to cover other protections. So right now I am just coming to one protection only. So for thermal overload protection, what type of scheme here it has been provided? This is a photograph of three-phase numerical induction motor panel that I have manufactured in my laboratory of GSAT. So this is the panel which is going to provide the exact mimic diagram of induction motor used in thermal power plant. So what happens in thermal power plant? કેવી રીતની induction motor વપરાય? So here generally in thermal power plant, any of the machine is operated at two ends. One is at local end, second is at remote end. I hope that you might have visited one of the power plant. કોઈ power plant તમે visit કર્યો છે? કોઈ તમારા ગ્રુપમાંથી વિઝિટ કર્યો છે થર્મલ પાવર પ્લાન્ટ કે કોઈ પણ ટાઈપનો પાવર પ્લાન્ટ? ઓકે, જો વિઝિટ ના કર્યો હોય
સર કદાચ
હા.
ગાંધીનગર સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ ગયા હતા. ગાંધીનગર થર્મલ પાવર સ્ટેશન સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ ને વિઝિટ કરેલી છે.
ઓકે ગુડ.
હેલો,
તો
આમાંથી કોઈ સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ ગયેલા છે? ઓકે સર.
ઓકે, તો તમે જો પાવર પ્લાન્ટ વિઝિટ કર્યો હોય તો એમાં બે ટાઈપના કંટ્રોલ હોય. એક તો કે જે એસી કેબિન હોય જેમાં બધા જે પર્સન હોય જીઈબી ના એ બધું